Temple football shuts out UMass. Name, image, and likeness is here at Temple.
And field hockey has seen some struggles. We've got tennis twins and plenty of soccer. Plus,
and I'm Meg Doyel here at the Leah Center, where I'll be highlighting a former Temple basketball player who recently joined an NBA coaching position. OwlSports Update is live, and it starts right now.
Welcome to a brand new edition of OwlSports Update. I'm Ajay Patel, she's Brielle Berry, and we have fallen into a new season.
Yes, it's fall on the calendar, and fall sports are moving into conference games and matches. That includes football, the final game of a 3-game homestand with UMass in town. After coming off a close loss against Rutgers, the Owls trying to get back to 500 on the season against the Minutemen. Temple QB E.J. Warner threw 2 picks in this game, and here is one of them, intercepted by UMass's Jordan Mahoney. The Minutemen played 3 different guys behind center, and here's Gino Campiotti throwing the ball right into Owls safety Alex Odom's hands. That is Odom's first career interception, and he was named to the AAC honor roll for his performance. This drive here was set up by a 34-yard completion to Adonicus Sanders and was capped off by an Ian Stewart touchdown. But Warner was not the only QB taking snaps. Here is Quincy Patterson running the ball in for a 2-yard score to put Temple up 14-0. Linebacker Leighton Jordan has 19 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and now gets his first interception on the year and returns it for a 41-yard TD. Temple shuts out UMass. Your final is 28-0. With this win, the Owls improve to 500 this season at 2-2 with non-conference play complete.
Yeah, he's just got to prepare. Prepare to try to help us win a ball game. Again, I don't see, we can sit here and say home or away. The one thing I look for is flinch. And I haven't seen EJ flinch yet. He's taking hits. He's managed the offense. He's delivered the football on time for the most part. And, he's made his mistakes too. The freshman quarterback's going to do all those things. And I think that as long as we step our level of play up around him, the receivers, O-line, tight ends, running backs, EJ will be fine.
In that second half.
My mindset's just whenever I'm on the field, you go out there and make plays, and when I'm not, I'm going to support Quincy and have him go out there and go make plays on his own. So I was just, whenever chance I got, just capitalize on it. Whenever he got it, he capitalized on his. So it was definitely fun to be out there with him and trade off and make some good drives.
EJ, since you've gotten here, how helpful?
The offense is not at the level head coach Stan Drayton would like, but the defense is a different story. The Owls haven't let up an offensive touchdown since week 2. OwlSports Update's Patty Heckard has more on the 3rd-ranked defense in the conference.
It's not back-to-back wins, but for Temple football, it's back-to-back weeks with a near-perfect defense. It started in week 3, where the Owls didn't give up a single offensive touchdown and a loss to Rutgers. Now 1 week later, same story, but this time in a win over UMass, where the Minutemen failed to pick up any points off of its offense.
It's amazing you look at those sacks that are taking place. It is good coverage by secondary, linebackers, and good pressure up front by the D-line.
One reason for the shutout over UMass is turnovers. The Owls got their first 2 interceptions of the season on Saturday, the second being a pick-6 that put the game away.
Those 2 turnovers weren't the only thing keeping the Minutemen away from the end zone. All 14 of UMass's offensive drives could not even reach inside the 20. Half of those drives not even making it past the 50-yard line.
It is the first shutout for Temple since November of 2016. And hopefully a boost in momentum for the team going into conference play.
As a football team as a whole, I think we're all excited to get into conference play and, play against a very competitive opponent in Memphis who's off to a great start this season.
Reporting from Lincoln Financial Field, I'm Patty Heckard, OwlSports Update.
Though they were able to get a win, the Owls still have a lot of areas to clean up as they head into conference play this weekend.
Inside the Nest anchor Emily Cochran is here with us to talk about what Temple did well against UMass and how to build off of this win as they face Memphis Saturday. Hey, Em.
Thanks, guys, for having me on the show.
Yeah, hey, Emily, do you have an idea of how well Temple is playing or improving over last year's team with these 4 non-conference games, or do you need to wait until you see conference play?
Yeah, so there have definitely been a number of improvements, but specifically I do think these improvements lie within the defense. Last game we saw the D-backs, especially Alex Odom, really stepping in and moving forward in that secondary. But like I said, it's going to be hard to tell without having a specific conference game that they've played yet.
Okay, now my question for you is, what is the one thing the Owls will need to focus on moving into their first conference matchup against Memphis?
So now moving forward, I think the Owls need to continue to find success within their special teams. Listen to this stat. The Owls have gone from 118th to 5th in the nation in punt return defense and 104th to 4th in the nation in kick return defense. Plus, they also lead the nation in blocked punts because of Devon Fox. He had 3 in one game a few weeks ago. So as long as they keep prioritizing their special teams players, I think they're going to be able to find success in conference play.
Thanks for joining us, Emily. The last time Temple took on Memphis was October of 2021, when the Owls pulled off a 34-31 upset. Last year at this time, Dewan Mathis completed over 70% of his throws for 322 yards and 3 touchdowns. 1 year later, Memphis was playing as well as anyone in the conference with a 3-game win streak. The Tigers, led by 19-year-old Seth Hennigan, are second in the conference in passing yards. This will be E.J. Warner's first game starting on the road. Saturday's game is at 12 on ESPNU, and you can keep up to date by following us on Twitter at OwlSportsUpdate.
Former Temple football coach Jeff Collins is unemployed. Georgia Tech fired Collins earlier this week. Collins was in his 4th year with the Yellow Jackets, but he wasn't able to win there. He was 10-28 overall and 1-3 this season.
Time for a break. The nationally ranked field hockey team took on 2 Philly 5 rivals over the weekend, and it wasn't pretty.
When we come back, we will have the latest on how things played out against Nova and Penn. OwlSports Update is coming back in 90 seconds. Welcome back to OwlSports Update. Coming off a double OT loss to Villanova, field hockey welcomed in Penn on Sunday. The Quakers came into this game without a win on the season. The Owls had many opportunities to score, taking 9 shots, but were unable to put points on the board. Here's Penn working the ball around the field, and Courtney Kenna scores the goal. Your final from Howarth Field is 2-0 Penn. Temple is 0-2 since breaking into the national rankings, but up next, they face Georgetown Friday evening.
From player to coach, and from the WNBA to the NBA, one Temple legend is now coaching with an NBA legend. OwlSports Update, Meg Doyel is live outside the Leah course with news on Candice Dupree. Hey, Meg.
Thanks, guys. Former Temple basketball legend and WNBA star Candice Dupree is joining the San Antonio Spurs coaching staff in a player development role. Dupree played at Temple under Dawn Staley from 2002 to 2006, where she helped the Owls win 3 conference titles. The former Owl also ranks 6th overall in career scoring and 5th in career rebounds for Temple. Dupree went on to play 16 WNBA seasons while playing for Chicago, Phoenix, Indiana, Seattle, and Atlanta, earning 5th in league history for career points scored. Dupree was a part of the 2022 Spurs Summer Coaching League. The team announced last Friday that she will be joining the team in the player development role. Reporting for OwlSports Update, I'm Meg Doyel. Brielle and Ajay, back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Meg. Certainly a big day in Temple's basketball community, but now it's time to switch the gears a little bit.
That's right. It is time for us to get on with our favorite part of the show that we like to call How A, AJ, and B, Brielle See It. And what else would you expect us to talk about other than football? Here is how we see it. I'm going to be focusing on Temple's offense. The return of David Martin Robinson last week. He had 54 yards for 3 receptions, and Adonicus Sanders, who he and QB EJ Warner have already built that connection. He has 17 receptions, 1 touchdown, and 236 yards this season. And lastly, got to talk about Jose Barbone, 16 receptions for 183 yards. AJ, what are your takes on the offense?
Well, yeah, that wide receiver group is certainly promising, but the rushing attack is the worst in the conference by far. And that's surprising with such a talented running back group. And I think this starts with the O-line, who continues to struggle. I mean, Adam Klein, who played center last game, he's been moving around all season. Stan Drayton put him in there because he is a good communicator. But other than that, as long as they get consistency up front, that starts with better rushing offense and then better passing defense as well. I mean, if they can be consistent with this part of their game, then they're ready to take that next step. Now that we have gotten American football out of the way, now let's get to Temple football. On the men's side, USF came back to beat Temple in the second half thanks to goals scored by Brian Schaefer and Marcus Victorio. The soccer team looks to avoid a losing streak as they take on number 25 ranked SMU this Friday.
In June of 2021, the NCAA made it possible for athletes to benefit from their own names, images, and likenesses. This opened the door for student athletes to sign endorsement deals. Now, a group of Temple grads is bringing this opportunity to athletes here on North Broad.
Temple athletes are money makers for the university, but now are making money for themselves. Alumni Andy Carl, Seth Goldblum, 2 of a few alumni who are the minds behind a new third-party collective called the Tough Fund. This fund allows Temple student athletes to facilitate NIL agreements through charitable acts and donations.
The fund is an opportunity to provide our student athletes with a more balanced relationship to their school, to their sport, and to their academic pursuits.
At the start, the Tough Fund aims to have agreements in place for at least 1 student athlete per varsity team, and the goal is grow from there. Student athletes don't have much free time to negotiate these deals, so the fund will do some of this initial work for them. And much of this effort will start with basketball and then trickle down to the other sports.
What we have seen across the country and the landscape is there is certainly a passion for our men's basketball program from our donor base. The fund is an opportunity that we are providing all alumni and boosters to step up and make an impact.
Although donors of the fund seem focused on men's basketball, Carl and Goldblum look to have an effect on every varsity sport at Temple.
I believe this can be successful, and it will lead to success on every playing field.
Although the fund is just getting started, this alumni group was able to start negotiating contracts for athletes this week here at Temple. Official announcements to come in mid-October.
Being a student athlete is like a full-time job that does not always allow time for internships. So Carl and Goldblum are hoping student athletes can profit off of their name, image, and likeness moving forward.
Coming up, we are ready to take our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll be talking about women's soccer, which is chasing its first win of the season.
The women's soccer team was looking for its first win against 21st ranked SMU. The Owls defense only allowed the Mustangs 2 shots on goal in the first half. Temple had opportunities to score but could not find the back of the net. Sophomore forward Sumaya Togba on a fast break shoots and it's deflected by the SMU goalie but gets another opportunity and shoots just to the right of the net. Mustangs midfielder Amina Khan gets the lone goal of the game. Your final is 1-0 SMU. Graduate student Jamie Way's experience in tennis makes her a leader, but she may be harder on one of her teammates in particular, Evie Way. The sisters are separated by 2 grades but are closer than ever. OwlSports updates Sam Covone has more.
Traveling 8,000 miles for school, having to learn a new language, and adjusting to a new lifestyle might seem too much for one person. That's why Jamie and Evie Wei are happy to have each other. Sisters from Taiwan, students, and tennis players at Temple.
Being with Evie, like, she has been here, like, at my lowest time and at my highest time.
Jamie has made a huge impact on her teammates and coaches in just 1 year after transferring here in her senior year.
Jamie is actually a great leader, probably the best leader that we've had.
Some may think that playing the same sport as your sister could bring out that sibling rivalry. But that is not the case with the Wei sisters.
It's always very helpful when we see each other working so hard, and it always makes us want to even work like harder and harder to make us better on court.
Living so far away from your family can be extremely scary, especially when you don't know anyone. For these sisters, playing with each other makes Temple feel like their second home.
I feel like there's like a small piece from home that is here in America.
The sisters will be competing at the ITA Regionals this coming weekend in Princeton, New Jersey. Reporting from the Temple Pavilion, I'm Sam Covone, OwlSports Update.
That is all the time we have for today.
Yeah, but before we get going, we have some Temple women's lacrosse to talk about. They have their season opener this week, and Brielle, who are they playing?
They're playing in-state rival Penn State University, so you know that's going to be a hard-fought game.
Exactly. You know, with the, Temple lacrosse was friction last year, and we'll see how that goes from here. From the entire OwlSports Update crew, I'm Ajay Patel. She's Brielle Berry. Have a wonderful weekend.